This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Next up, we see Seth Rollins and Kane backstage discussing the main event, and Kane is teasing that he's going to let Rollins lose, saying that losing may teach him how to be a real champion and a real man. And he would continue that he doesn't need this job, but he loves it, but he'd stand idly by and let Rollins lose. Well, the security team here, Noble and Mercury, they're trying to get tough with Kane. He's just laughing in their faces. And Meltzer would critique this and say, so instead of the world title being pushed to find out who the best is of the top four guys, now it's all about what Kane might do. What'd you think of this?
Yeah, that kind of muddies up the waters of who's the best of the best, doesn't it?
It does.
You know, and that's the one thing when you're being led as a announcer, you have to say what is being fed you. You know, just hearing the story. And again, sometimes when I go back and I hear the story of the match and I hear about things that happen, or I watch and I see things happen, it makes you really wonder why you did stuff. But to me, that story is pretty simple. You got three members of the Shield and you have Randy Orton as the fourth guy, right? In the match.
Yeah, well, we haven't talked about the match yet, but yeah, that's exactly right. It is a four-way. It's Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns.
All I was saying is, on that particular backstage promo, wouldn't you have been better served as an audience member by them just hypothetically having the Shield back there and just saying, no doubt you have the odds, and the odds are ridiculous. There's three of you guys and Randy Orton. And let those guys tell you that it's going to be decided amongst those three, that Randy won't have a say in it one way or the other. Which immediately, when you tell me that, I'm thinking right away, Randy's going to be the guy. You know, you can drop little hints that say this will never happen, but in our business, that's just a neon saying that's exactly what's going to happen.
Right.
There were ways to tease that in that earlier promo before you ever get to the match. I think not just to mean it by, it doesn't matter what the rest of those guys do. Those are all top guys. It just matters what Kane does. Just feels like a little bit of a lame tease to me.
I would agree. I do want to give everybody a peek behind the curtain. You're using a massage chair today. It's one of those tough days being a wrestler. Fair to say?
Yeah, is it coming across? Are you hearing noise?
Well, maybe a little bit here and there. I'm applauding you for soldiering on today, because I know that, you know, your back's not having its best day today. And, I mean, it could have been worse. You could have been receiving all those Spinebusters all those years, but you can only take so many doomsday devices before eventually you get a little hitch in your giddy up, huh?
Yeah. And it just depends on how I sleep that night, or if I've been over and picked up something the wrong way the day before. It comes and goes. It's not all the time, but today is one of those days, obviously, that it's giving me fits. So if I hear a little something in the background, that's what it is, and I apologize.
Oh, you don't have to apologize. We appreciate, the realism that, hey, this isn't ballet, as they say. Let's keep it going. Talk about the main event. Four-way, as we teased at the top. Seth Rollins defending against Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose. As a reminder, at Extreme Rules, Seth Rollins defeated Randy Orton in a cage match to retain the world title after interference from Kane, Jamie Noble, and Joey Mercury. And on the April 27th Raw, it was announced as a result of the WWE votes on the app that Rollins would be defending the title against Orton and Roman Reigns in a triple threat match. And then on the May 4th Raw, Ambrose defeated Rollins in a non-title match and therefore is added to the match. And on the May 11th Raw, Triple H would decide if Rollins loses the title, Kane would no longer be director of operations. So Kane's job is on the line as well, as if there wasn't enough at stake with the world title. 20 minutes, 42 seconds. Meltzer would note in the intros, Reigns was booed a little. Lots of interference, through this thing, as you might expect. We get Mercury and Noble attacking Roman Reigns. We also get Kane hitting Reigns with the steps and choke slamming Reigns on the steps. Lots of shenanigans. Meltzer would write, Kane went after Orton, but Orton laid out Kane with an RKO, but that allowed Rollins to hit a weak-looking pedigree on Orton for the pin. It was well laid out and the best match on the show, but it felt with so much interference constantly as opposed to just for the finish, like a clown show rather than a title match. 3 3/4 stars. I think Pat Patterson a generation ago would say there was lots of gaga. What'd you think of this one? Too much?
I'm not sure, because we have so conditioned the audience that in those matches, and what you have to go back and reiterate if you're an announcer throughout this thing, because people forget, is when you have a fatal four-way or a triple threat, technically it's like a no DQ. You can use stairs and chairs and tables and all that stuff. What we do inwardly to try to protect that is when you have a triple threat, you just don't use all the toys.
Right.
Well, in this match, when you got the run-ins from J&J and you've got all this involvement from everybody else to try to make this thing as exciting as you can, you have to remind the audience that this stuff is all legal, or otherwise it's just like it's out of control. Why is none of this disqualified? All those different things. So it's like got to be a all hands on deck. And, you know, a lot of those false finishes, because the guys are so smart in that match, you know, as far as coming up with intelligent stuff that really reeks of being a finish. It builds the drama and it builds the drama. And it's all intended to have, you know, this thing peak at a time when this guy's going to win. Oh, no, the other guy's going to win. No, 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 oh, I didn't see that coming. That's the goal that you try to build to in these type matches. And, you know, you could say it's too much. And the one thing I would say is I think this was during a time when Seth, other than using Hunter's finish to win the match, should have won his own. So at least what you walk away from this whole thing is the strongest move of the match is Seth's, and that's what won it for him. That would be the only tweak I would make and the only change I would make, I think. It's kind of hard to go back and Monday quarterback that match.
The readers of the Wrestling Observer gave it 59.8% thumbs up, 9.5% thumbs down, 30.8% thumbs in the middle. They thought the best match by far was the four-way main event, followed by New Day, Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. No surprise there. The worst match, unfortunately, was the ladies. They lead that one. What'd you think? Best match? Do you still think it was the main event, the four-way?
Yeah, just because of the star power. I think so. It had the most to lose and most ramifications and all those stars out there. I think probably they're exactly right. And I would have went with the tag match with the New Day and Cesaro and TJ second. Everything else would have been subjective, I think.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.